we're having a look at two of my Chilean guavas, the Flambeau here, the variegated variety, and Capao, the largest cultivar. They are both just doing so incredibly well, just shooting out tons of growth. And this one in particular, Capao, is really holding onto its berries still. If you can see them down there, they're still not turning red yet. They're just still ripening. They should be ripe sort of in the end of September or October. They're quite late berries, which is quite nice if you've got a bunch of different berries in your garden. Then these ones sort of come when everything else is done. It's quite a fun thing. But what I wanted to do today is, because there's so much growth here, I thought it'd be a nice time to just propagate a bit. Try to see if I can get a few cuttings to take now that we're in the end of August. It'd be good to try it now. It gives them a chance to shoot some roots before winter sets in. So I'll just take a few cuttings and see how they go. I've got myself 6 little cuttings, 3 of each, 3 of the Flambeau and 3 of the Capao. Really healthy little things. The Flambeau had such long leaves that, or long branches, it was actually really easy to cut some, just to trim some. I mean, the Capao ones are really long too. I just had to use this sort of homemade netting thing, just to sort of, or frame, just to sort of keep them up a bit, because they were really falling to the ground a lot. But yeah, I got these lovely little cuttings. I'll just strip them down and get them ready. So I've stripped most of the leaves off, just left a few on the very top just to give them a chance to photosynthesize a bit, but not lose too much water through the leaves. And I'll just get them all set now. Got my rooting powder here, just supposed to help them root faster. And here's a nice deep pot here full of just regular compost. And I'll just take my little cuttings that have been sitting in this water, dip them into the rooting powder. Make sure it covers the bottom of them. Make a nice hole along the edge. I always like putting cuttings along the edges of the pots, because that way the roots, when they come out, they might meet some resistance, and when they do, it helps the roots split, and that creates a stronger root rather than just one single root just going down as far as it can to the very bottom of the pot and then splitting. So this is, I'm going to plant them all the way along the edges of this pot. Just lots of rooting powder on there, just tapping off the excess and popping them into the pot. It's going to be fun. I mean, I've looked and I've seen people say that they're quite good to root from cuttings, but it's always fun to try it. It's such a nice way to get extra free plants too. Little copies of them. These are such wonderful plants. They have these beautiful flowers in the spring, little bell-like flowers that just smell so amazing. And then they have these fruits that I showed you earlier that are ripening and are meant to taste so delicious. So it's a really fun plant to grow here, and they're really cold hardy. They tolerate temperatures down to -10 or so degrees Celsius, and that's colder than it gets here. So I've kept some outside over winter last year, and the ones I put in the greenhouse, which was an unheated greenhouse, so they got cold, but they didn't quite like it in there. I think it was just too, I don't know, they got kind of some black soot on them, which was a sign of them not enjoying themselves in there, poor things. And so I'm going to keep them outside this year, I think. Just like, as long as they're protected from cold winds, they should be okay. So I'll put one in the middle because there's no more space around the bit, by the edge, and we'll see how that is. And then just give them a little drink. And now I'm going to keep this compost, this pot, nice and moist. And I'll keep it somewhere protected as well, so it doesn't get too much sun or too much cold. And I think during the winter I'll keep it in an unheated greenhouse. Let's give it a really good drink, because now they haven't got any roots. They've got no way to get water unless I keep them moist. So there you go. And yeah, I'll keep them sun protected and keep them warm during the winter. Not warm, but just away from freezing temperatures. And hopefully now that because we're in August, they should hopefully get a nice chance to root now before winter sets in. And I'll do an update in a few months' time, probably in the spring actually, just let them go and let them root throughout the winter, and hopefully we'll have some new plants next year. It'll be really exciting to see how it goes. And I will keep you updated, and I'll see you next time.